application with lat-long coordinate pairs. All right, thanks. Well, hopefully everyone here is at their three margarita limit tonight, so this will be an entertaining talk for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about a web application I put together. Here's the web address. It's latlong2elevation.com, and it basically takes a batch file of latitude and longitude, submits that to a web service published by the Geological Survey, and returns the elevation at any point where either the SRTM or the National Elevation Dataset has coverage. I also wanted to examine the accuracy of the points. It was created in C# programming language and uses a service-oriented architecture, and the web service returns an XML string that we parse and write to an output file. A little bit about the NED, National Elevation Dataset. The resolution ranges from 1/3 arcsecond up to 1/9 arcsecond LiDAR data. And I think this is a little bit out of date. It's continually improving as people add more data. It was flown in 2000 and generated data between 56 south and 60 north latitudes. So Iceland got cut out of the deal, but serves them right for their volcano. Coming from the groundwater side of things, some of the applications I use it for are geologic cross sections, groundwater modeling, where you take the centroid of a raster and determine the elevation at that point, and also just checking survey data. Here's a quick screenshot of what the web app itself looks like. You basically just upload your file, processes it on its server side, returns the results as XHTML. Some of the other sections that are on the website include documentation of the accuracy, which I'll talk about in a second. You can view your points using a Google Earth mashup, and then also an example data set and, of course, directions on how it works. For being a new web application programmer, these were kind of the interesting things I thought were the session ID to make sure if you have multiple users at the same time that they're going to be accessing their file and not someone else's who's online at the same time. Down in the lower right here we have an example of the input file. It's very simple. It can either be comma separated or tab delimited, ID, latitude and longitude, and WGS84 coordinates. Here's a little bit of the code. It basically just references this service I mentioned published by the USGS that has a lot of other similar services you should check out. Assigns the results down here to a string and then parses that XML result. So here's what you get back. The first three columns, of course, are your input data. Then what comes out of the application is elevation, units, feet, or meters, you can decide. And then what the resolution of the grid that it referenced was. So we wanted to determine how accurate is this. So I got 42,000 vertical benchmarks from the National Geodetic Survey and ran through this application and then did a state-by-state analysis on how accurate are the points. So guess here real quick, I also did this with all the Starbucks in the country. Which are the highest and the lowest, which is the highest and the lowest Starbucks? So it turns out we can claim the highest Starbucks in the United States in Copper Mountain, and the lowest Starbucks at minus 47 feet was in Coachella, California. So here's a little bit more of the accuracy assessment. You can see this is banded error to within 1 feet. So about 25% of the points are within plus or minus 1 foot, and then the accuracy gets progressively worse from there. So here's the same thing. This is zero error. And you can see a couple big outliers out there to the right. This is for Colorado specifically. There's 690 vertical benchmarks we put through there, so you can get a sense for the accuracy. Just another way of displaying it here with a map. The larger points are higher error from the Geodetic Survey, and the smaller points, like up in the northwest there that you can't even see, is just a 1 foot difference between the two. So that's all on the website if you want to check that out. The final part of the program is server side injects a little bit of JavaScript that you can use to view your results, and click on it and it'll give you the same information that's in the download file. So it's kind of slowed down on development on this. It was a CU project that I really got into, but now things are not moving along. I'd like to add a function to determine the distance between the points, and possibly also a function to convert from UTM to lat long, so you could put in UTM coordinates instead of geographic. So that's it.